Hello and welcome to another review. Today we're going to be reviewing Werewolf the Wild West's Frontier Secrets. Now, this is not a very thick book, but it is very, very useful because there is very little fluff information and there's like almost no intermittent period between, the next very critical thing. It's very, I guess you could say bulleted in a sense. So, right off the bat, the very first chapter, called Garrow Ways of the Savage West, instantly starts up with, if I can get it opened properly, there we go, so I can actually flip. We get gifts. We get Homid, Metis, Lupus. We only get three auspice new three auspice that get new gifts. The Ragabosh, the Philodox, and the Arun. Then we get tribal gifts. We get Black Fury, Bone Gnar, Children of Gaia, Phaeana, get a Fenris, Iron Rider, Red Talon gets only one, but it's not really a new one actually. Shadow Lords, Silent Strider, Silver Fang, Stargazers, Uktana, and Wendigo. By the way, the Red Talon one is not new because it is Scent of Running Water as a level 1 Ragabosh gift, which is apparently published in some other material because it's not in this. It's not listed here under Ragabosh, so I don't really know why they gave it to the Red Talons, even though it's an auspice gift, but whatever. Then we get 3 new totems. We get the totem of the Thunderbird, the Owl, and the Raven, and their associated costs and everything. So, and that was all crammed into 13 pages approximately. Right off the bat, they're like, here's new shit. So, that makes it very good. Then we get rules for new changing breeds. Now, we get a little bit of information on the War of Rage, information of today, and shapeshifter characters, which is a small little sidebar. The races detailed are Korax, the Children of the Raven, and all the associated information needed to play one. And their stereotypes, rights, and everything. We get the Nuisha, Children of the Coyote, which I believe we got in the Werewolf Companion. So there is a little bit of crossover, but I believe they're the only one that crossed. And once again, their information. Then we get the Pumonga, the Children of the Cougar. And yeah. So right there's 3 new ones. Then we get chapter 3 of Antagonists. Now, you get more information on the Walking Dead and their kind. You get 3 stat blocks, Young, Tough, and Elder. Then it goes a little bit into the clans. Now, they're not the clans in the vampire sense, Ventru, whatever. The clans listed here are the Dark Riders, which it says are from the Black Sabbat. So, probably just an incarnation of the Sabbat. The Wormies, as they're called here, which I believe are Nosferatu and Samadhi, which I believe are I really just think it's Nosferatu, probably. And the Bruja, the Dark Power, which are Gangrel, and something not listed with a stat block is have a Lico sense. I think it's just advice for how they should interact with how Garou should interact properly with vampires, which is rip its throat out and beat it till it's dead. Only proper way, really. Then we go into a heading of Sorcerer and Medicine Folk, which covers a stat block for Witch, then Mad Scientists and a stat block for Associated, Medicine Folk. Then we go into a very interesting part of this book, something that makes this one that really should be useful if you want to run anything in the Wild West. It's a section called Magic, and what it does is details how you would play a little bit, it's only like a page, of how Mage of the Ascension will be played in the Wild West. The Technocracy, the Homeland War, the Inner Madness and Hate, boundaries of magic and coincidence. So, right here it gives you a little bit of a look into how you would play, you know, mage in the Wild West. It also goes into how Wraith, the Oblivion, I believe that's the one for this one. Yeah, I think so. It's Wraith for Old World of Darkness. I honestly do not know. I've never actually played Wraith. But it goes into information about them. And some character creation rules. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, it looks like this is using character creation for Wraith with Werewolf the Wild West stuff. I don't know. It's got Gnosis listed here unless Gnosis is used in Wraith. I honestly don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to that area because I've never played Wraith nor have I ever actually seen the book. So we get information on a Wild West Chronicle of Wraith. Something like a bar and a page. So I mean, just like one of these all the way down. Then we go into Changeling. Changing the Wild West. And then some information for character creation. Changeling the Dreaming, the Savage West. Then we go into a big section of this, which is the Enlightened Society of the Weeping Moon. And it goes into a lot of it. You could, in theory, based upon everything here, play a game where you were in the Society of the Weeping Moon. The Enlightened Society of the Weeping Moon. Now, what they are is kind of like the Inquisition, kind of like Mage, is what it sounds like. Once again, I don't have Inquisition, I don't have the Mage. But from what I know of those two, it kind of sounds like that's what it is. Because the Enlightened Society are people who are corrupted by the worm and do their evil dealings with the intent of they want all Garu wiped out. They believe they are corrupt. They want all supernatural beings wiped out. Little do they know that they're actually being corrupted by the worm spirit. They don't know that unless, of course, maybe like the very, 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 very top founder, knew that. Maybe. But no one's really for sure. So everyone thinks that they're doing the proper thing. They are unaware that they're actually connected to the worm at all. And they give the different types of ranks and what they can do. It also it goes back into how you would, because each member also, in a sick, twisted joke against Garu, every member has to trace his birth date, all the way back to find out what moon he was under, to kind of put him into a faction of the house. And if you're a member of one of these houses, I believe it's the Absent Moon and the Horned Moon, you get access to Saturnal, which is like magic. Think more like Vampire Disciplines when it comes to this part, because you get to put, it looks to me, at least, that they are broken up into dots, and you just put your dots into your chosen Saturnal field. Horned Moons get Main Saturnal, M-A-N-E-S, Main Saturnal, not main, And then the other ones get Anima, the Nansen Moon. Yeah, however that's pronounced. Get Anima, not anime, Anima, which is another field of it. And then it goes into some stat blocks for some characters. Then it's got a page for using the Enlightened Society of the Weeping Moon in a chronicle, and how a storyteller should really play them so that they feel real, how they're supposed to be, brought forth. The last chapter is really the appendix. It's odds and ends. Now, this is where I really got a lot of use out of this book, because there is a detailed timeline from 1796 all the way up to 1913, all with things of werewolf, supernatural occurrences mixed with real-world occurrences, so you really see this, proper timeline of how you would play. So I really liked it. I thought it was very helpful. It's got an expanded weapon chart with all the information you need for it. 3 notes of Areta. Single versus double action. The Owl Totem. which is then represented here again, and then XX page in, I believe, the core book. Yeah, it's on page 96, and it should refer you to page 111-112. So, if you really want to know. Then there's something that is really helpful to a storyteller that a player shouldn't know, unless your storyteller really wants to share, is the back page of this, where the errata is, also goes into detail about how the West ends, how the Storm Eater, in the end, meets its final destruction, or so you think. And I think it'd be really cool. I like how they've written it here, so that you could, in theory, just take it and be like, well, my players are going to replace these guys over here. So I think that's really cool, and I like how they did that. They gave you kind of this end field, so you could have your players play through it, or you could even have your players play right after it, and they could, you could use this as background information to be like, this is what's happened in recent days. So ultimately, I think this book is great. I paid like $7.50 for it. I definitely have paid, up to like $10 for it, maybe even a little bit more. I found it really useful when I was running a Werewolf the Wild West game, and I plan on actually running one soon. So I'm going to get a lot more use out of this. So I'd say buy it if you're going to run one, or if you just want to run anything in the Wild West or want a detailed timeline to kind of look through. So that's all. Until next time, have a good one. As a side note, I forgot to do this when I was reviewing. The Frontier Secrets book is supposed to come with this storyteller screen. The storyteller screen has the experience cost chart, difficulty of raid rules, combat summary, which I found really not useful. It's great at first, but the fact that it uses old 2nd edition version of the rules, they're a little bit clunky. So, I probably just clip something more useful over it if you're using new rules. If you're using old rules, it's great. It's got brawling chart, a delirium chart, feats of strength chart, firefight complications, melee weapon table, movement rate, renown chart, jumping chart, trait modification by form, the gauntlet, and then a list of areas, health levels, gunfight complications, and firefight complications. Which, one's actually complications, the other one is, I guess it's just mislabeled. It's really called shots. It's a chart detailing that and what would happen, special effects, damage dice, and the target, and then difficulty. So, and then it's just got really cool artwork on the front. I liked it. So, you may not have caught all that, but, So that's what's supposed to come with it. Just so, if any of y'all plan on buying it, you can, possibly get the screen and know what to look for. So, that's all. So, have a good one.